Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetri K, and I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Saadiq, also known as the Black Yul Brenner. Remember yesterday when he said he was going to city council meeting and he was going to let him have it? Well, he let him have it. He called him all kind of names. He called that man everything but a child of God. But I'm sure he'll tell you all about it.
Yes.
But anyway, I should say the purpose of the Demetri K show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always try to do better. Like I said, Big Giant, thank you. Hello, welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You're on the other side of the conversation. I don't think I'll be sharing the link today, as we're not really going to be on here that long. Just thought I'd come before you and ask Donovan if he would, because, you know, I won't be able to do it this weekend, but I will be live streaming from Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. I'm on Saturday when myself, along with the African Diaspora News Channel, go and you have a conversation with the audience. So y'all stay tuned for that. Also, in the comment section, is not that we disagree, it's how we disagree. So let's be as respectful as possible to one another. And the same thing here on the panel. We're going to be talking about 2 Black women being arrested for helping prisoners escape from a jail in Louisiana, Orleans jail to be exact. Of course, we had all been hearing a lot about it. It was, I think, it's 16 or 10 inmates. 10 inmates. It's 10 inmates who had escaped, and the insiders, like, they had to have had help. Well, lo and behold, they did. So we're going to get into it. Donovan, what say you?
All right, you guys, it is countdown. We got 3 days to go for the Demetri K to be in the Black Expo in Columbus, Ohio. We look forward to seeing the live feed and everything like that. You guys, you know, it's really good when you can see us actually, you guys get on the road, Demetri, African Diaspora News Channel, and you're actually there with the grassroots. Grassroots is very important because everybody sees, you know, social media and what's on, and, you know, some people that know reality from fantasy, but it's good when we actually could see you guys out there actually practicing what you're preaching and kind of, you know, talking to the regular people. But, you know, for those of you guys that have these great conversations with us, and they are great conversations, everybody's opinion is valid, but it doesn't mean it's fact. But, you know, we respect everybody's opinion. But to keep these great conversations going, we have a scrolling banner at the bottom. Do us a favor. If you guys want to continue to have these great conversations and you want to continue to help the show go farther, you want to buy Demetri a cup of coffee, there's one way you can do it. Please donate. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all that other great stuff that you guys can do, cash, money order, and all that other great stuff. Also, do not forget the African Diaspora News Channel app, fully Black owned and operated, as well as employed Black people on the channel. You can get that at Google Play and your Apple Store. This is a very interesting story because, as you guys know, I was born in Louisiana, and you know, I have a little, you know, family connection to the prison system down there in Louisiana. In and out, in and out, in and out, you know, some of the relatives and stuff, not me, but the relatives and stuff. So I've heard stories of how, you know, like Angola, they don't even have a fence. They have a swamp back there. I mean, these stories are true. And so some of my friends and relatives that might have, you know, gone through there, they're verifying all this stuff. But this is an interesting story because, Demetri, this goes back to this. And this is the question that I have. What damn fools would risk their freedom for men that are already in jail? Let's get into it.
Absolutely. So let me go ahead and put their photos up. Give me 1 second. Let me see if it'll let me do both at once, because I got a couple more up here. All right. So I just kind of wanted y'all to be able to see these ladies. So anyway, I was on a May 16th. May 16th, there was a prison break or jail break at the Orleans jail there in Louisiana. Says that it was 10 inmates, and these are the ladies here. One of them, so I think the one on my left, probably y'all right or whatever. The one with the partner in her hair, let's say that. 32-year-old Courtney Harris, and then 38-year-old Corvante Baptiste. They apparently worked at the jail, and what? You know
Did you
her?
say? Wait, did you say Baptiste? My grandmother's a Baptiste. I got cousins that are Baptiste. Oh my God.
Well, guess what?
Keep going.
They from Slidell, homie.
My mom lives in Slidell.
They from Slidell. So yes, so Courtney Harris and Corvante Baptiste, apparently they helped these gentlemen escape from jail. Now it sounds like there was a hole behind the toilet or something like that, and they were able to get through it. And it sounds like when they left, they wrote on the wall, "This was too easy" or something like that. Well, while some of these fellas, and I'm going to take these ladies down, take them down. While some of these fellas were on the run, the ladies helped them, with food and things like that. And it's also said that one of them, let's see, Corey Boyd, he's, been captured, but he was, I guess, in jail for murder, that he was in contact with Courtney on social media, and they were calling each other while he was on the lam. And I guess that's how they found him. As y'all can see, they've captured about half of them, and 5 of them are still on the loose. I heard one of them went live with his homies. And they caught him. I think one of them, from what I saw, I don't know how true it is, was tired, I guess, and fell asleep on a bus stop or something, and they caught him. Nevertheless, they're caught. But these 2 ladies, they're looking at 5 years in state prison. It said with or without hard labor, and they may also have to pay a fine. It's a felony, obviously, right, to help people, inmates escape, aiding and abetting, and all of that. And they were also, again, transporting them where they needed to go. Now, the sheriff, Susan Hudson, who was the first Black woman to serve in that position, she is under pressure, and she suspended her campaign. I guess she was running again to be sheriff. And she says, "I take full responsibility for what happened," So people are like, yeah, you might need to resign because, and of course, they're blaming DEI and all this other stuff. But nevertheless, I think the conversation that I want to have here with y'all and Donovan is, what do y'all think would make someone put themselves in a position to go to prison for potentially 5 years for helping people escape? And at what point do we realize there's no such thing as a perfect crime? Of course, they saw on camera these, men escaping. So it's like, I don't know, I'm confused. Donovan?
Well, first of all, I don't want to say anything that might incriminate a family member. So if that's possible, a family member. So I don't want to be ostracized by the family for talking against the family. So number one. But no, seriously, I am related to a bunch of Baptistes down in Louisiana. So as you guys know, I think the Baptiste name is a French name that goes back to Haiti and stuff like that. But no, I'm serious. I'm looking at these women who complain about they can't find good men, this, that, and yet you're going to find good men in the jail already. It's one thing when you're out here with Pookie, Ray Ray, and Nook Nook, and you're rolling around and, things happen, but, you're initially free. These fools are already in jail. What could a guy that is in jail do for you and you're on the outside? I mean, it's mind-boggling to what is going on. And then let's not forget the idiots. They finally get their freedom. And this goes to show you how strong social media is, Demetra, and everybody that's listening. It is so strong. These idiots do not have the wherewithal to stay off the grid. They want to get on the thing. Hey, what's up, man? I'm free now. It's just, is our education system that bad? I mean, have we lost our minds as a people? I mean, you couldn't even make a Hollywood movie about this other than a comedy, because Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kids, if you're going to break out of jail, you're going to break out and you're going to go on the run and go live a good and prosperous life and somewhere else. But these fools, I just don't know what to say. And it is very telling of our young people that this is the stupidity that they do. Number one, the women are facing a felony and a lot of years in jail. these guys, some of them have nothing to lose. I guess some of them were in there for murder or whatever. So I can understand those guys. They have nothing to lose. But what about the people that probably were in there for 15 or 20 years? Now you're looking at another 15 or 20, you might as well just be done with it. I just, these young people that are just throwing their lives away over weed, over a drink, over, stuff. It's just, what a waste. What a waste within our culture. It's bad enough the system is designed to try to get us in there by any means necessary. But when we do it to ourselves, it's just unacceptable. But what do you guys think? I mean, I just don't know what to say. I'm not saying that this young lady is related to me, but come on, there's a very good chance. I come from a very big family down there, and all these
people.
Yeah, all these square men running around free, and these chicks out here worried about men that are incarcerated with 3 meals and a cot.
Yeah, and hey, Brother Samuel, he says maybe they know the system is so corrupt that they felt to free them was justice in the injustice system. You know what? That crossed my mind a little bit, but it's like,
well, they are doing more than a black congressman.
Right. I don't know if I want to go down for the count with you, though. Maybe I could put a little something on your books, something. But I listen, Donovan talked about it. Angola. We know that's one of the worst prisons in the damn world. Okay. Forget the United States. Ain't no way I'm going to Angola. Not me. You know what I mean? And then I saw a lot of y'all say thug love. That might have had something to do with it. Somebody said maybe they were threatened. That could have been it too. But I'm telling Wharton, I don't know. I almost got a job as a correctional officer and a sheriff. Well, I don't know if I almost got the job. I didn't pass the physical on both ends of it, and I just didn't go back. But I guess if I would have passed the physical, I would have potentially been a sheriff, or not a sheriff, but a deputy or whatever, and then a correctional officer. And people, I wouldn't have got caught up like that, but people get caught up all the time. I mean, we hear about the the guards and stuff getting knocked up by the inmates, and you also hear about them being threatened. We know where your family live and all this other stuff. You need to do X, Y, and Z. But I don't know. Some tell me these ladies wasn't too threatened, because they was bringing them food. They was, communicating with them on the phone and social media and all. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know.
All this D out here, and you got to worry about D that's locked up and could potentially be down low brothers while they're in there. Gay while they're in.
Gay for the stay. Mike Nice, he says attention is one heck of a drug. You ain't lying. Super Patriot said that's nuts. Troy, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see. You also say they can't stay off the internet. You know what I'm saying? And like Donovan said, when you go on the lamb, you're supposed to go on the ground. Hey, I'm with my homies. They can't keep a good brother down. And it's like, really? If that was me and I escaped through a hole in the wall, you wouldn't find me. You would not find me at all. Like the Defiant Ones, that's what I would be doing. That old school movie.
Sidney Poitier and Tony Curtis. Yeah. Yes, they need.
We would have been on the wall for real.
And I know a lot of people are saying, well, how did they get out? Why it's so easy? You got to remember, when you're in a humid climate like that and you're in an old prison, the walls eventually become like flour, and you can just basically chip all that stuff out because, they're not investing money into the infrastructure of a prison like that once it's built, I mean, who's thinking that behind the toilet after decades of people pissing against the wall, it's going to eradicate the wall, which it does happen. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that they find out not only that wall is pregnated, or the other ones are compromised as well in the jail. I would not be surprised that there are more walls that are compromised. Thus, they'll say, we need more money for prisons.
Oh, you can believe that. They always talking about building prisons. And Shirley says, I once read a book and the name is Men Who Hate Women and the Women Who Love Them. Well, damn. Says, when loving hurts and you don't know why. Yeah. And I'm wondering how much of that was even love. It's like we gonna, take a hit for the team. I don't know. I'd be like, I'm sorry, sirs. I will not be helping you do none of this, okay? What I need you to do is go back to your cell and stop talking to me about this foolishness, okay? Now, back in the day, you know, I knew some women who were actually going to be correctional officers, and one of them, when she was going through the training and stuff, she was like, man, I'm probably going to get in trouble. She said, because them men is fine. They fine. I'm probably going to get in trouble. I'm like, yikes. But at least she was honest. Oh. Yeah, I mean, a lot of women, you know, and there's a lot of women who date men in prison, you know, so I don't know. JJ says they promised those women in their he says they'll be in their rap video from behind the wall. Stale Grits, how you doing? Says, I wonder if FBA men will help them escape. Well, they're still looking for 5 of them, and that was the 16th. So almost a week, I guess, at this point. They've been on the run, so ain't no telling where they are.
Yeah, and did you notice that I think the 5, they're all light-skinned. They look pretty light-skinned to me, so I don't know.
Right, hold on, let me see this. Okay. Okay, hold on. I ain't even gonna address certain comments on where they're getting blocked. I got them, Chalk Chick. I know exactly who you're talking about. Sanchez, how you doing? Tyler, what's going on? He says, I always look at female guards, correctional officers sideways. They can't resist the bad boys. Yeah, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them that's like, you know, I come to work, I get a check, and, you know, the men, I'm the cat's meow up in here. I got the keys. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to get in the mind of them. I don't think that would be me, but I'm assuming that's kind of how they think, you know, because a lot of men behind prison, they not bad looking. Anyway, Brian, how you doing? Says none of them had a real plan. No, they did clearly, right? They just was like, oh, there's a hole in the wall. Bet we going through it. Yeah, Regina, asbestos. That's exactly what it is. So they might be a little unhealthy by the time they, you know, get caught. 48 TCO. Yes, you're early. We ain't gonna be on here that long. Just thought I'd come on here, just talk about this. Brother Reggie says, if I broke out, I would have linked with the white homie, got me a fake passport, and been headed to Bali. Yeah, they don't have an extradition thing over there.
No. You guys keep forgetting, you know, our Hispanic brothers and sisters, you know, when slaves were running to get away from America and the slavery, they all were helping us. So that's where I would go, to my Hispanic brothers and sisters.
And they'll tell on you real quick. We know where they are. And I think they said it was like, is it $20,000? I think per one that you find, I think. So yeah, you know, I'll be like, I think I know who you talking about. Which is probably how they called a lot of them, right? Hey Gary, how you doing? Icy Kitty, how you doing? He says, I agree. It's that high humidity and low quality concrete that can't handle constant open closing of the bars. Yeah. They saw a way out and they exploited it. Raven, how you doing? Says Donovan, glad to see you today. You called the Moreno Valley mayor scumbag so many times. I thought I was going to have to get my tools and go ahead your way. Yeah, Donovan was unhinged. I know the mayor was probably like, wow, damn.
Well, the funny thing about last night when I was talking, a lot of people were like, we want to hear Donovan some more. They wanted me to speak some more, but they only give you 3 minutes. So.
They should have gave you their slot then. Brother Samuel says, wow, right before I left school today, a teacher was playing a prison movie where one was about to escape from behind the toilet. I didn't watch to see how they did it. Well, maybe
that's probably the Clint Eastwood one, Escape from Alcatraz.
Oh, yeah. That's yep. I think that's what happened. And it ain't isn't Trump talking about opening Alcatraz up again? My goodness. Super Patriot says they better go to Mexico.
Which would be totally stupid, being that the Alcatraz as a tourist attraction generates $90 million annually in the San Francisco Bay Area.
And it would take, they said, what, hundreds of millions to even get it up to where they can hold people again.
Almost $1 billion to get it to standards and upgraded.
And clearly it's not escape proof because people have done it, you know. Israelite 1865. How you doing? Says facts. They shouldn't be in men's prison anyway. Yeah, I would think that would be right, right? Like they shouldn't. And I even knew some, and I know rather some male correctional officers, and they work in the women's prison. They said the women are just as bad, like propositioning them all the time, and which is how a lot of them get caught up too, you know, because they're like, yeah, I got the keys. I got the keys to the closet, baby. And we've heard those stories, right? Let's see. Carlette, how you doing? Says I worked at Folsom Prison. Damn. Folsom Prison, and those men are not worthy of losing my job. Besides, I am there to work and not to hook up with the worst of the worst. Yeah. But some people, they just like, I'm here, you're here. You know, why not? You know, I wouldn't be me. Actually, y'all, I've worked so many places. It's crazy. One time I worked at the juvenile prison in California. I wasn't there long. But to get in, anybody's worked in a prison, I'm probably preaching to the choir. To get in and out, you gotta, you know, go through a lot of protocol, and you know, they make you wear a radio, and it's like a radio, but like it's also like a sensor. So if it gets tipped over for too long, they'll, you know, radio and say, are you okay? Are you okay? You okay? 10-4, whatever. And then if you don't respond, they'll come looking for you. Well, unfortunately, like years before I got there, and Donovan, you probably seen it. It's a stretch of highway on the 60. Oh gosh, I forget her name, but it's named after one of the guards that were in there. Guess she was kind of, you know, too trusting of one of the inmates, and mind you, they're juveniles. Yeah, and he, you know, and threw her out with the trash and all that kind of stuff. And they, you know, found out he escaped. So they made it even more so where I'm telling you, there's like so many barriers. It'd be almost impossible to escape. You got to check in this door, this door, this door, this door, and you got to give you keys, and then they got to unlock a couple more. It's crazy, right? But yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Who else haven't I seen? Child of Italy says no brown brothers and sisters. Okay. 48 TCL says better not take your ass down there, Donovan. Yeah, you better go see about his family members. Your average logical thinker, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. I love my ad block. What's going on? It says use that black girl magic and conjure up some common sense abracadabra, yapple dapple. What? Drizzle, you crazy. Sagittarius Goddess says, I wonder how long did each one of them have in prison before they escaped? Well, it was jail. So they weren't even in prison yet. They were in jail. So more than likely they're waiting, you know, for trial and things like that. One of them was, I guess they caught him, was in there for murder. So I guess he's going to trial. He was. Now he's got some other worries.
Yeah, but let me ask you guys in the chat, as well as you, Demetra, with Ring cameras and Big Brother got the cameras outside on the, you know, and the thing is, where do people think they are going to go? There's at least 3 car chases here in Southern California every day now. And I look at this, you got the helicopters following them. I mean, they're just on constant surveillance. You're on constant surveillance when you're out in the public. Where do these people actually think they're going to go? That's what I don't understand. You're not going to get away. You're just not.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Especially if you got tattoos that are very distinctive to you.
And like you said, to all that swampland and stuff, I mean, you probably get eaten alive by something out there, you know. And Lorraine, how you doing? It says black women are confused. They don't know. They don't know if they want black men in jail or out of jail. Yeah, I prefer mine to be free. You know, yeah, some people they that's what they like, you know. Beverly, how you doing?
Is it that bad boy danger aspect of it or what? Because there's a lot of sissies in jail. I'm just gonna, you know, be real about it.
Give me some of that thug passion, baby. I'm singing a song, y'all. Hey, Corey, how you doing? He said, what's wrong with black women? How long you got? We ain't all bad. We ain't all bad. Brother Reggie says, Demetra, the person or people that escaped from Alcatraz, didn't they get eaten up by sharks? Is that what you're saying? I know one of them was the Birdman they never found.
Well, a lot of them they never found, but the people that you're talking about that escaped, they found the raft and stuff like that, but there was never any concrete proof that they drowned in the water. As a matter of fact, I was reading a story about a month or two ago where the brothers, 2 of the one that went, they have pictures of them down in South America. They're saying that those are the guys that escaped. They went to South America somewhere and lived down there. But yeah, there's no concrete evidence that that actually happened. So
yeah, they probably escaped, and I don't know. I'm like, if you made it off this island, you escaped, you deserve to be free. You made it. Tereline says, that's here in California. Yes, Alcatraz says, I live in Los Angeles, Louisiana. South is different, maybe. Yeah, South got that swampland, especially Louisiana, the alligators and all that other stuff. San Francisco, a shark maybe or whatever, but you have to be a good swimmer, I guess. To do it. Let's see. Laverne says, Black women don't know if they're coming or going. Some of them. You know what, Pop? You just ain't gonna act right. Perfection in progress. How you doing? Says, I didn't know you can sing. Me either. Carla says, I believe the rest of the inmates went to Mississippi or a nearby state. And, I'm going to put them back up. I don't know. Would y'all? Well, I guess, like you said, Donovan, some of them do have distinctive tattoos. I wouldn't know those brothers from the next brother. Not saying they all look alike, but, they got the braids.
Yeah. That guy, Antoine Massey. Oh, yeah, he's still out there, but he won't be out there long with those tattoos right on his face.
And Derek Groves, he got that, tattoo on his neck. Yeah, he definitely going to get gaffled up. But amazingly, the ones with no tattoos, they got caught. So I don't know, But I wouldn't recognize them. I probably wouldn't even be paying attention at all. I don't know. Donovan, some of them look like your people.
Well, Louisiana is a small place, I'm
gonna remove them. All right, let's see. Sister Shirley says some women are afraid of relationships, so they choose men in prison. This way, they really can't have a relationship. One thing I know about some of them dudes in prison is that they got women. They ain't got just one. They got a few women and some men. So they're never bored. The only thing they can't do is leave. They got some women on the outside. They got women on the inside, the guards or whatever the case is. So yeah, I don't know that. And someone, I know there's on TikTok, they have a, what's it called? Like a prison talk. That's what they call it, I think, prison talk. So it's like a whole little sector of TikTok all about prison. So I don't know. It's crazy. Marshall, how you doing? Says, without money, transportation, and destination plans, they can't get far. The swamp has wild boars, alligators, snakes to deal with. Yeah, I'll be like, I'm just doing my time.
And as a matter of fact, they're having a problem with the pythons now that moved over from Florida. All those pythons out there now.
Yeah, no, I'll be like, I'm just going to do my time. I'm good. Daryl says the prison pen pal community is huge for male and female prisons. Oh, yeah. I forget it's something else. Is it JPay or something like that? Where that's
how you can put money, give them money, and
I think they can video chat and a whole lot of other stuff. So it ain't the prison back in the day.
Well, don't forget the prison industrial complex. They make money off of us while we're in prison. I mean, back in the day, you couldn't just have some Cheetos. It was a government funded thing, and that's what you ate, and that was it. You didn't have a selection. Now, you put money on your books. You could have phone calls, video chats, and you got to pay for this, or your family has to pay for it. And they're living the life of Riley. They get their own TVs. You don't have a community room where you can do the shankings and stuff. So now you can it's a whole industry within itself. And guess who benefits most off of that industry? The white man.
Lorraine says some of these black women want to be Cassie. Damn. Corey, you say no jailbirds for me. Yeah, I don't know. Just from the stories that I've heard, the men on the inside act like some of the men on the outside. You would think the line of reasoning would be, oh, well, they're on the inside. They need me. They gonna act right because I'm bringing them commissary, put money on their books. I'm visiting them and all this other stuff. So they ain't gonna be cheating on me, man.
Yeah, but as you're signing in that visitor's log, you see Bunquisha in their name, and you see so-and-so that was there about 2 hours before you got there.
Right, now you fighting on your damn visit, I seen the name. No, I didn't tell her to come visit me. She just came on her own. But you visited her, didn't you? You didn't have to come out. Laverne says, I didn't mean all women, just the ones that are talking about. Yeah, I know. You know, I'm being silly too. Brother Reggie says, yeah, Antoine Massey ain't gonna be on the run for long with all that mess on his face. No, it's a matter of time, right? $20,000, I think, is what the reward is. Don't let me see him. And you know, that ain't too far from Houston. So if I'm out and about and I see him, how you doing? Tiff, how you doing? Says, I can see prisoners refusing to hire us Black women unless we're married. We're gonna be seen as liability. I mean, even the married ones be up in there. You know, how her husband gonna know? How he gonna know? Husband, like, I tried to call you. I don't have no cell phone on me up in there. I can't talk to you. I'm at work, right? She at work, all right. So you be surprised. Surprised. I've heard stories. Brother says they got them turned out dudes too. Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. I went to visit a friend once, in prison, and you know, you had you in the room or whatever where you're visiting him, and there was this little. Well, he was a kid to me. He was 18, and he had his head down. He was just like this, sitting with his parents. And I said, "What's wrong with him?" I mean, it was so heartbreaking to see. He says, "Well, he's 18." Just got here. So he said they probably taking his lunch, you know, and I think he was in there for murder too.
Taking his shoes probably from him.
And he's, you know, he said he probably having a hard time in here. You know, I said, oh, it would just kill me, you know. And so then there was this other guy that was sitting at this other table because, you know, you see everybody there. He was fine too. I said, he fine. He said, yeah, he fine. But he got a woman on the outside. And he said he got a man on the inside. I said, surely you're kidding. He says, no, I'm not. I said, okay. Not that I was trying to get with him. He was just fine. You know, I just made an observation since I was there. You know, what are you going to talk about for the time that you're there? You know, you twiddle your thumbs and you notice other people. Magneta, how you doing? It says, did they get this idea from Tupac, the song called When I Get Free? They might. Now they need to stay free. Poppy says tattoos look like dry bird stuff on my PE. Says people, I wish they wouldn't mark up their temple. Yeah, now you're marked. They can find you easily.
It's like the mark of Cain. You put the mark of Cain on yourself, where all hands are going to be against you. But do you know what's crazy though? Guys, think about this. Let's say these young men happen to go to the nearest country that we border, and it ain't Canada because you stand out over there. They make it to Mexico. With our immigration policy with them and all this other stuff, I think they would be vetted very well if they try to enter Mexico.
Right. And then let's see. And Marshall and Saadiq, how you doing? Marshall, you said they're mainly in Orleans Parish. He says majority Black. The other surrounding parishes are majority white, and they are on the lookout for them. So yeah, maybe that's how they're finding them, because they're sticking out like a sore thumb, right? Like, what's that Negro doing over here? You know, and they call the police, and it be one of them, right? Poppy says $6.75 per minute phone call, limited to 15 minutes. We would not be on the phone long. Hello, for real, you doing okay? All right, goodbye. That'd be like.
well, to alleviate that call, have you guys heard of those stories back in the day where they were flying drones over the prison and dropping in the burner phones?
Remember when? Shoot, they still doing it. You know, from what I heard. Okay, from what I heard. And Laverne and Tiffany says J-Pay is taxed and the government is getting a cut from it and going. Yeah, and it's high. It's expensive. Laverne says those inmates be busy, y'all. You ain't lying. They not bored back there. The only thing they can't do is leave. They got it all. And I do mean all. Roger says I'd be a stool pigeon with 20,000 in my pocket. You and me both. I'll be out there like Dog the Bounty Hunter looking for him. I make it a whole side hustle.
Yeah, you know, but the funny thing is, in Alabama, I think Louisiana too, and maybe Florida, they have the chain gang still. So those guys ain't like they're in prison in California where they're kicking back and telling people, I wish you would make me get up at 6 a.m. They put them guys to work down there.
I hear too, because I've gone to the prison out here. I was doing some work for somebody. I'm trying to help them, and it's one of the most depressing things you'll ever experience. And coming and going. You see them in the yard, and it just looks like, I don't know. It like you said, Donovan, it's a lot different than on the West Coast. You don't necessarily, because you don't even really kind of get that close, but you do see them in the yard. They're wearing all white. It looks to me like a plantation. That's kind of what I envision. I'm like, and it went, hell, I'm committing no crimes out here. You have to take me back to California, okay? That's where I'm gonna do my time. Brother Samuel says they have those complex conjugates, math terminology for the conjugal visits. Yeah, they do. Then, and I think there's certain ways, like if you, I think did something really bad, I think you can't get it. I don't know much about it. Let me quit acting like I do. Chris, how you doing? Says sheriff got to go. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. They asking for her to leave because I guess she was trying to run again, but they're like, no. Said, how is the maintenance responsible and the sheriff isn't? I mean, I agree. You know, you're supposed to be making sure your facilities are breakout proof, right? I would think. Maybe she was, busy, if you know what I mean. Brother Reddy says, yeah, man, they be turning them out, man. Judge Joe Brown. Yeah, see, that's another reason why I wouldn't go. Candy, how you doing? Yeah, I'd be like, no, I'm good, thank you. Judge be like, you going to prison? No, I'm all right, thank you. I'd rather not. It's like on their presidents. Did he say life? They threw the chairs like, oh man. Brother Reddy says, what's the prison called that's like a plantation? Angola and Alabama. Angola's and Louisiana, right? Louisiana, yeah. Ugh. Not me. Jeanette, how you doing? Says they ain't giving us no reparations, too much dysfunction. Oh, they gonna give it to us. They will. The car dealer, how you doing? Says as an observer from overseas in Europe, the relentless stupidity that comes out of Black America is entertaining for the rest of the world, especially when Americans boast they are number one. Well, I would say stupidity comes from everywhere. It's not just ubiquitous to Black Americans or America. There's stupidity everywhere. I mean, there's places in different countries where, people get their hands chopped off for stealing, or get caned. And it's like, to me, all I'd have to hear is the homie got the hand cut off. And I'm like, whatever they did, I'm not going to do it, But people still engage in the stupidity. So in America, I think has one of the most lax, unless you're Black, forms of punishment when you think about a lot of other countries, right? A lot of other countries, like, we're not even going to send you to jail. We're just going to do it right now. Which hand did you do it with? And hopefully you didn't do it with both.
Remember that show Locked Up Abroad? That was some crazy stuff, man, depending on what country you're in.
Locked Up used to be my show. I get off from Frito-Lay, tired, and I take a shower, get in the bed, and I watch Lock Up until it was watching me. And then the forensic files and all of that. Yeah, but man, I remember one time I was watching Locked Up, and this one dude, he was what y'all call a pedophile. Or no, I wasn't even trying to say the word. PDF file. Too late now, right? And he was saying one day he was walking to his cell, and all of a sudden he felt like this hot something just splashed on him. Because he said, when you're in there for that, you're a mark all the time. He said he come to find out somebody to mix some baby oil, Vaseline, and hot water and splashed it to him. And he says the premise is that it'll stick to you, and when you try, you smear it and it burn you up. I was like, golly, he might need to tell that story on the news. So anybody else who's thinking about doing that will know you will be splashed with that. That's crazy.
Demetria, one of the quick trivia, one of the most beautiful Black women of the 1970s, early 80s, starred in a movie, which was a prison movie, and everybody saw it, and it was a sleeper hit. Can you name that movie?
Man, I told you back in the day, my daddy is, a mechanic, and he'd be tired, and he like, I'm taking y'all to the drive-ins. My daddy would fall asleep. Do you know he took us to see Penitentiary?
Penitentiary. Leon Isaac Kennedy, yes.
Jane I don't even know if I was 10. And we're like,
too sweet.
I'm serious. My dad would take us because he had a van, and he like, Yeah, we're going to the movies, going to drive-in. My dad would be out for the double feature. He had no idea. He took us to see Cheech and Chong's movies a bunch of times. He had no idea what we was watching. Penitentiary was one of them. As Eddie says, what happens if someone refuses to work while incarcerated?
Well, what they do is they restrict your privileges. So basically, they might take your commissary from you. They might take away your recreation time. They might take away your visitation. So, they don't brutalize you in there like another country would do, but they can restrict your privileges.
Yeah, I've heard about those prisons in Japan. I heard that they are real small.
There is no revisionism in Japanese prisons. People would rather kill themselves than go back.
Yeah, I mean, and they have a very polite society. You don't hear people loud talking and none of that. Even in a rush hour, they just it's like real quiet. You know who the foreigners are in Japan. I'll tell you that. Mm-hmm.
And in Japan and a lot of these countries, and that's what I'm saying, people need to travel more abroad, and maybe you would appreciate, as jacked up as this country is, you would appreciate the freedoms you have here. In Turkey, if you get convicted, the state ain't worried about it, because guess who's got to feed you and give you your stuff while you're in jail? Your family does. In Japan, while you're in jail, even if you're on appeal or whatever, if you get brutalized, you're just in jail like anybody else. They don't care what your situation is and what your rights are. You will do and whatever. If they beat you upside the head, so what?
Yeah, I was in Honduras last summer, and the tour guide, he was like, "We don't really be sending people to jail like that over here." He said, "We don't really believe in it." He said, "We just deal with it right then. We ain't, he said, we do, but not like that. We just gonna punish you. Whatever you did, you're gonna deal with it right then and there, and then you go on with your life." Now, it sounds like the punishment ain't like, okay, right, I will not steal 100 times. It sounds like it's a little bit more austere than that. But he's like, we're not brutal like America, where they just house people for any and everything. When maybe they need some sort of a correction type of thing. You'd be surprised what I ass whooping to do, even for a grown-up, right? Your average logical thinker says, my daddy had a van too, and my cousins used to tease and call it the mystery machine. Yeah, my dad's van was green as well. Not quite like the mystery machine. Scooby-Doo in them, but yeah, he loaded us in that van. We'd be watching some of the most inappropriate things as children, but it was still cool. Nevertheless, he took us to see The Thing. Was freaked out watching The Thing. And we wake him up like, "Daddy, the movies are over. It's time to go." He just slept through both movies.
Had no idea there was nudity involved and all that other stuff, sex scene or something like that.
I mean, come on, Cheech and Chong, they was with the, I guess maybe he thought.
Did you go to one of the drive-ins like Rubidoux and Van Buren?
L.A.
Oh, in LA. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. He might have thought he took us to see ice cream, Cheech and Chong's ice cream, but it was Nice Dream, and then Up in Smoke. We saw them both. I kid you not. And to this day, he doesn't even know what we were watching.
That's because Dad was working his butt off to give you guys the best life he had, and he was just tired. Still had time spending time with his kids, but he was there. So.
Yeah, I remember the OG Scare Straight movies in the series. I've seen the new ones. These kids ain't scared at all. They like, "Hey, what?" Al, how you doing? You says, "Hey, Donovan, one of my Navy, I think you meant shipmates, got arrested in the Philippines. How's their prison system?" Oof.
Yeah, the Philippines prison system isn't really great, but because of the Status of Forces Agreement, which is a military agreement, basically, if a military member does a crime over there, he goes through the host country's system. But because he's in a military status, they don't brutalize him, because it's you wash my hand, I wash your hand. And then once he goes through that system, then he's handed to the United States military personnel. Then he's extradited back to the United States and go through the American system of justice. So yeah, the Status of Forces Agreement if you're a military person, protects military people, oh my God, beyond if you're just a civilian over there doing something.
Yeah, we've been on here for almost an hour, and that's a shame because we were supposed to be a half an hour. Yeah, my dad took me to see Flashdance. We always go to the drive-in, saw Flashdance. I think I was about maybe 10, give or take, when that came out. But I remember seeing that in the movies. I just had to see it. You know, I have a small little background in dancing, and I just had to see it. And I was, glad that I did. 48 TCL says, my sons tease me about that too. Mama got her blanket, so she about to be asleep up in here. Yeah, I did the same thing when I took the kids to the drive-in. I'd recline the seat. I'm like, no, I'm gonna watch the movie. They be like, it's time to go. You done slept through the movies.
You know what's crazy? Remember back in the day, for those people, a lot of people, I'm surprised a lot of people haven't experienced drive-ins, especially our people, because we go to the theaters, whatever. But if you went to the drive-in, remember you used to have to take the little box and put it out on the edge of your window and stuff, and you got to keep the window unfogged and stuff. And then technology had upgraded, then you had to tune it in on your radio. You can get the tune.
Man, those were the days. I think you do it on. You have to find the station or something on your car, But yeah, that big old heavy metal box, you put it on your window. Man, that was I would go to a drive-in today. I would probably fall asleep, to be honest with you, unless it was a good movie or whatever. But yeah, that just the nostalgia of it all, right? And then depending on what kind of car you had, I had an Expedition when I was taking my kids, and they let the back up, and they put the seats down and put pillows and blankets, and I'd be in the front knocked out. Terry Lee says, Sam, I remember my family had a Chevy Astro van. I was like 5 years old when I went to the drive-in in La Brea and saw Tales from the Crypt with Jada Pinkett. Man, yeah, I love it.
Wasn't that Demon Night? Tales from the Crypt, Demon Night?
Yeah, Demon Night. Yeah. Yep. She get jacked up in the bathroom or something. I love the old school Tales from the Crypt. And Brother Ray says, speaking of jail, Mystical probably headed back soon. For real? He just cannot stay out of jail. Tracy says, Demetra, you don't get it. I missed the whole segment. Oh, I'm sorry. Poppy says, neighbor took us to the drive-in to see Body Double. As soon, he says, and as soon as the chick started dancing towels, my friend's father started the damn van and left. I was pissed off.
You missed King Norris's Graves comment. He says, can't go to prison, too old to watch out for my booty.
I saw it. It's like, Mr. Norris, you'll never go to prison, so you'll never have that worry. Al says, my grandparents went to one drive-in movie theater near Lifetime, and that was in 72 to see the movie Poseidon Adventure. Oh, at the drive-in? That's a long time. I think I was one.
Nothing but stars in that movie, man.
Yep. Raven says, former collegiate player at Oklahoma State, Jared Saw facing the death penalty in Indonesia for possession of cannabis. Yes, I saw that. Like for weed.
See, and this is what we're talking about. The ignorance of Americans. We think because we're American, we can go into these countries and just do what we want to do. Just because it's legal here doesn't mean it's legal there. Do you guys know if you are caught with cocaine in Thailand, it is a death sentence? No questions asked.
Because they're like, y'all not going to bring that over here and be having people strung out and all that. But yeah, I don't know. Just like you knew when you was taking cannabis over there, maybe you should have known. I mean, you saw Brittany Griner go through it in Russia. Y'all still doing it. If he's guilty, I don't know. But man, the death penalty for some weed, hell to the no. I hope it was worth it. But at some point in time, we got to, unfortunately, as a brother, I did see that. When do you learn? When do you say, okay, when I go over there, I'm gonna be straight laced, drink water, and mind my business,
But wouldn't that tell you have an addiction where you can't, wait till your vacation's over to come back to America to blaze up? I mean, you got to have an addiction where you can't go on vacation without having your stuff.
Or it's the mentality, I'm not gonna get caught. They ain't gonna know, Hell, I'm scared to take a Tylenol. Or whatever the case is, through TSA or whatever. Brother Sammy says, I never go to a drive-in. He says, I never got to go to a drive-in. The closest I was as a teenager with my friends in their car after midnight, streaking a peak. He says, if those of those rather X-rated shows once or twice. Yeah, I don't think they played that. Hey, Arneva, I don't think they played those in the movie theater or whatever, or the drive-in. Well, they did the movie theater, but I don't know about the drive-ins. But yeah, let's see. M, and how you doing, so Demetra? I'm giggling over here of your striped shirt. Giving us right. You know what? Given the subject matter, he says you got the Hamburglar outfit going on. I ain't mad at them ladies. Let my people go. I have questions, but I ain't gonna ask it because it's a vulgar question. So I'm not gonna. And not of you, of the ladies that help these men escape. Was you getting anything out of it? Did you get a rump in the closet?
Just move it to the side. Move the things to the side. Slide it to the side.
And they don't carry guns or anything like that in there. So I don't know. I just I'd be scared one of them strangled me to death or something.
Oh, and real quickly before we get out of here, I want to give you guys a update. If you haven't heard, Congressman Jerry Connolly dies at the age of 75 on the throne. Do you see the problem we are having in our political groups of people? These baby boomers are dying on the throne and not giving a damn about the next generations. They are literally, they refuse to leave. We got to carry them out in pine boxes.
Yeah, I heard he died of cancer and he knew he was sick, but like you said, when is enough? And he said, did y'all ever have a dollar theater in Los Angeles? Yeah, they had the dollar theaters in Riverside, where we're from. De Anza used to be a dollar theater, and they still have one, I think, in Moreno Valley.
Right up my street from my house. It's a $3 one, but
Donovan don't go to no regular movie.
Yes, that's right. But they upgraded. Demetra, they've got the reclining chairs now. Yes, the recline.
Moving on up. Donovan don't go see no regular movie. He said, I'm gonna wait 13 weeks for it to hit the $2 movie theater.
Well, it's not even that. These movies are so doggone terrible nowadays. If you wait maybe 3 weeks, it'll be on Peacock or something.
You ain't lying. They do move the movies quickly to, this is something I really want to see. I usually wait and, watch it, like you said, on streaming or whatever. I was trying to watch something on Tubi the other day, Donovan. It was, I can't remember the name of it, but it was, what were they doing in this movie? I checked out after like 5 minutes. I don't even remember. That's how bad it was. I was like, next. Brother Steven, to tell your wife to say hello to. He says, I straightened up and I seen all my neighborhood friends getting 25 to life and others getting unalive. Yep. That right there is the wake-up call. Raven says, Tory Lanez Megan Thee Stallion man got stabbed up at Tehachapi Prison in California. I bet he won't be going back. Yeah, I saw there's a Republican representative in Florida. She's like, nah, we got evidence that he was set up, that it wasn't him. And they're asking Governor Newsom to pardon him. There's like, nah, this man got a raw deal, But the other question is, if he did, is Megan Thee Stallion going to jail? For lying. Al says, did Elvis Presley die when he was taking a dump? I don't know.
Yeah, he was found on the floor in 1977. And you know what was crazy about that? I remember when they announced Elvis is dead, you had these old, well, my mom wasn't that old. She was, 27 at the time. But you had women that were like they knew the man. It's like when Teddy got in an accident, the black women went, my mom was devastated. When Teddy was caught up, she was devastated.
And you know what? I remember when it happened because my daddy, it came on the radio and I couldn't have been, I don't even think I was 10. And my dad, in no uncertain terms, told us what he was doing. Now, I don't know how I knew what it was. I'm sure he explained it. I was like, men could do that? Because my dad was kind of mad about it, right? I'm sure like a lot of other, people, do y'all know that Teddy Pendergrass he was supposed to be, and back in them days, he would have been considered a billionaire with where they had him going. They were going to make dolls and he was just everywhere.
Ladies only concerts.
Yeah, bras and draws all on the stage and stuff. Man, and then to hear that. Wow. It's like, no, I don't want to go to your place. I'm good, thank you. I'm thinking, don't turn off the lights either. Okay, don't do that. Laverne says, how is it that they could die on their position? That's the problem. It is the problem, you know. But it's up to the constituents as well. It's like, y'all know these people as old as Methuselah, and y'all keep voting them in, right? Al says, I'm waiting for y'all to do a show from Donovan's studio. Well, I'll be out there next week, so I'll stop by if Donovan's dog ain't bad. I didn't go in the last time. His dog was doing a lot. I was like, hell no, I ain't going up in there.
It's something about Demetra. My animals just love her. They love Demetra.
Yeah, all I saw is my legs getting clawed to death. I was like, nah, I'll wait outside for you. Trace says, we went to see the Joker last movie. Oh, the Joker's last movie was it was traumatizing. It was so traumatizing to watch. I'm like, what the hell is funny about this movie? Because, you follow the Joker all the way from its inception. He was bubbly, right? He's full of laughter. And I've seen all types of, Gotham, the Joker on that. And, obviously the cartoons and just different Jokers. And this Joker, Joaquin Phoenix, the first wasn't bad. But this one, it was so hauntingly dark. I was so mad. And it was a musical. That part didn't bother me, but it was just the trauma in that. His character didn't catch a break at all. It was just a really dark, just ugly, horrible movie. And I felt like I was being held hostage too. I mean, there was one scene in the movie, and you could hear a pin drop in the movie. That's how traumatizing that scene was. And I'm like, what in the utterly F word would you put that in there for? So I would go see it if I was y'all.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I've been watching Tubi, just surfing through Tubi, because that's, you can watch the WNBA streaming through the Ion, through Tubi. And I'm looking at all the Black movies. I don't know who's doing the writing in the Black community, Demetra, but how many revenge tales do we have of women that have to be strippers to support their families to get back at the drug dealer who killed her sister? And it's like all the stories are the same. And then it goes back to what I was saying, where the majority of Black people are at below or just above the poverty line. We are always struggling in all of these movies. And then if we are rich or a lawyer or something, we're corrupted. I was just like, what is with these movies? And then let me tell you guys something. The worst recommendation of a movie I ever got off Tubi was from Demetra. She told me to go watch this movie called Bissonnette. And from the time it opened up, I was like, oh my God.
That was the last time I actually watched Tubi, was Bissonnette. And I was like, well, let's see what's on Tubi. I didn't have anything to do Saturday, so I'm sitting on the couch. I said, let's see. I don't even remember the name of the movie. It was like the first, you go on Tubi, it was recommended. So I said, okay, I'm going to watch it. I can't even tell you, I don't remember what it was about. It was just that bad. I tuned out after like 5 minutes. I'm trying to remember what happened. I don't even know.
Well, the opening scene, she's giving top to some client. I'm just like, oh my God, what is this?
Bissonnette. Well, if you know anything about Bissonnette in Houston, that's what the stroll is, right? So yeah, Bissonnette was a horrible movie. It was just horrible. But one thing about Tubi, they'll give anybody a chance. Hey, Wild Williams, how you doing? Says, my ride or dies always have my hand. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. Jenna, how you doing? Says, why are we surprised? Okay. Diane, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Dwight, what's going on with you? Says, whack movies. Al says, Joaquin Phoenix won Best Actor for the first Joker. Yeah, and the second Joker was just, oh man, it was terrible.
Yeah, whenever they make the sequels, it's just a money grab. It's just a money grab.
Awful. Arneva says, did you hear about the American citizen sentenced to death in Africa for participating in a coup, but will serve life in American prison? I think Trump will pardon them. So he says they sentenced to death in Africa.
Yeah, that's a CIA thing like this. Have you guys ever wondered, during all these Middle Eastern wars, remember when they were finding hikers in Pakistan? Why would hikers be in the middle of a war zone in Pakistan? Those are CIA special operatives operating, but yet, see, they report that in the news to you guys under Operation Mockingbird as innocent tourists that were minding their business in the middle of a war zone.
Right. Hey, Dwight Dorsey says Brother from Another Planet is a great movie. Is that on Tubi? I watched something. You know what? I just, like my daughter say, remember when you saw that movie? I said, we did. And then she would like jog my memory, like, oh, we did. It's weird. I don't know. If they're not that fascinating, then I kind of don't, remember them, whatever the case is. I like documentaries. That's my thing right there, is documentaries. So anyway, that's all we have. We ain't got no more. So I might be back here tomorrow. It's the day before I leave, so I'll try, because I haven't even packed or anything yet, and I need to do that.
We need Demetra to rest her voice, get her last reps in, her last squats in before she heads on out. We want to make sure she's rested when she gets there. She has all her documentation, her credit cards, everything is good to go. And I'm sure Brother Phil Scott is going to take good care of you and everything like that, as you're, are part of the team there. And
the Ohio Expo is they're taking care of everything. Yeah, so we good.
But I mean, to gather the crew together, make sure everything's taken care of.
I've never met Vicky. I've never met Vicky.
Okay.
And I think there'll be, I'm not sure if Emma will be there, but I think she is. I've never met Emma in person. So yeah, I'm looking forward to, to meeting those ladies. So,
Yes. So, just remember, do not call us for bail money if anything happens. I know you didn't do it. You were just caught up in the wrong area. So no bail money there, but just be careful in case, and safe travels when you go there. And remember, if the agents don't want to check you in, you don't have to make a big deal of it, okay? We just record them and we'll get them fired later.
Now, I ain't that girl when I go to TSA. Yes, sir. I sure is. Look, yes, sir.
And what did you tell me? You're not flying Spirit or Frontier. You were flying United.
Yes. I
leveled up. You wouldn't have a problem.
Yes, I leveled up a little bit, but listen, Spirit they ain't got no problems, yeah, Tracy, it's gonna be cold out there, so I gotta take one of my winter coats. It's just, I don't mind dressing up for the weather for a couple of days, because here it's almost 100 damn degrees. So
yeah,
I will be taking my giant coat with me. Hey, DJ Charisma, how you doing? Says the weather isn't bad. I'm gonna drive to Ohio since I don't have to work. Come on down.
Come on. Yep.
Love to see you. So anyway, I gotta go. Thank you so much, Donovan, for coming on here. I know it was impromptu, so if y'all don't see me tomorrow, you definitely see me on Saturday. I will live stream it. So thank y'all for the safe travel.
And real quick, about what time would the live stream come on? Just in general, if you had to give us some.
So 3:00
Central
Eastern time. No,
Central. Eastern. Okay.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah. Columbus is Eastern. It's in the Eastern zone.
So 2 Central, and then adjust from where you're at.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So.
Gotcha. Okay. Great.
So anyway, love and appreciate every last one of y'all.
You have a logical thinker.
Yes, indeed. So we was right. I'm gonna need some bail. I ain't gonna be doing nothing. I'm gonna go and come. Actually, I'm gonna be traveling to California from Ohio for about a week. Come back for a week, because my homie's coming to visit for a couple of days. And then I'm going to fly back to California for like 10 days. And then once I'm done with that, I'm not going anywhere for the rest of the summer. I'm here. No more traveling at all. So anyway, I love it. Appreciate it. Y'all stupid with the spirit. Gotta go. Peace.